Imagine you're sitting across from someone you love. They're smiling, nodding, saying all the right things. But then, suddenly, you hear their actual thoughts. Not their words. Not the carefully edited version they choose to share. The real thing. The raw stream of judgments, fears, desires, doubts, regrets, and impulses constantly moving through their mind. And within seconds, your entire relationship changes. Most people imagine mind reading as a superpower, something that would eliminate lies, end misunderstandings, reveal hidden truths. But the reality might be far stranger, because the human mind was never designed to be transparent. It was designed to be private. Every day, your brain generates thousands of thoughts. Many of them are contradictory. Some are irrational. Some are disturbing. Some appear for only a fraction of a second before disappearing forever. Yet, they still happen. Right now, your closest friends don't know every thought you've had today. Your family doesn't know. Your partner doesn't know. Even you don't fully understand why many thoughts appear in the first place. And that's probably a good thing, because civilization itself may depend on that privacy. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the ability to hear every thought around you. You walk into a grocery store. Instantly, hundreds of voices flood your mind. A teenager worried about their future. A mother calculating her bills. A man silently judging everyone around him. Someone remembering an embarrassing moment from 10 years ago. Someone imagining something violent they would never actually do. Someone wishing they were somewhere else. The noise would be overwhelming. Psychologists often describe consciousness as a filter. Your brain constantly removes information to prevent overload. Without that filter, the world would become chaos. Now imagine everyone can hear everyone else. No secrets, no masks, no hidden emotions. At first, it sounds like honesty would finally win. But honesty isn't always comfortable. Sometimes your friend asks if you like their new haircut. You say yes. Not because you're lying maliciously, but because you're protecting their feelings. These small social fictions act like oil in the machinery of society. Without them, every interaction becomes dangerous. Every conversation becomes a risk. Every relationship becomes a battlefield. Researchers like Robin Dunbar have argued that human societies depend heavily on social cohesion. Trust isn't built from perfect transparency. It's built from balancing truth and kindness. Mind reading would destroy that balance overnight. Think about dating. First dates would become terrifying. No mystery, no gradual discovery, no carefully chosen words. The moment you meet someone, you'd know exactly how attractive they find you, exactly how nervous they are, exactly how many comparisons they're making, exactly what they think of your appearance. Some relationships would end before they even begin. Others would form instantly, but many would collapse under the weight of too much information. Because mystery isn't a flaw in human connection, it's part of it. Then comes politics. Imagine every politician's thoughts becoming public. Corruption would become nearly impossible. Hidden agendas would be exposed instantly. But something unexpected would happen. Every impulsive thought, every fleeting doubt, every moment of uncertainty would also become visible. Leaders would be judged not just for their actions, but for every temporary thought passing through their minds. The distinction between thinking and doing would begin to disappear. And that could be dangerous. After all, humans often think things they never intend to act on. The psychologist Daniel Wegner famously showed that trying not to think about something often makes that thought stronger. Tell yourself not to imagine a white bear. Now you're thinking about a white bear. The mind produces strange thoughts automatically. Mind reading would expose all of them. Suddenly, people could be punished for thoughts they never chose. A new form of discrimination could emerge, not based on race, not based on wealth, but based on private mental activity. And then there is crime. At first, crime rates might collapse. How do you commit a crime when everyone can hear your intentions? But criminals would adapt. Human beings always adapt. New technologies would emerge. Mental shields, thought encryption, brain training techniques. Entire industries dedicated to hiding thoughts would appear. Because whenever transparency increases, privacy becomes more valuable. The richest people might not own the biggest houses. They might own the strongest mental defenses. Then comes the biggest surprise of all. You would finally discover what other people truly think about you. Most people believe this would be liberating. It probably wouldn't, because humans consistently overestimate how much others care about them. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. You assume everyone notices your mistakes. Everyone remembers your awkward moments. Everyone judges your flaws. But most people are too busy thinking about themselves. Mind reading would reveal an uncomfortable truth. You are not the center of everyone else's world. And strangely, that realization might be one of the most freeing discoveries imaginable. But there is something even deeper, something more unsettling. If everyone could read minds, individuality itself might begin to change. Right now, your thoughts belong to you. They develop in private. They evolve in silence. Many of history's greatest ideas began as strange thoughts nobody else understood. If every thought became public immediately, people might become afraid to think differently. Fear of judgment could invade the mind itself. Innovation could slow. Creativity could shrink. The safest thought would become the most common thought. And society might gradually become more uniform, more predictable, less creative, less human. Yet there is another possibility. Perhaps mind reading would create unprecedented empathy. For the first time, you could truly experience another person's fear, another person's grief, another person's loneliness. You wouldn't have to imagine it. You would feel it directly. Hatred might become harder. Cruelty might become rarer. Because every person would suddenly understand how similar everyone really is. Behind different appearances, different cultures, different beliefs, most humans share the same fundamental hopes, the same insecurities, the same fears, the same desire to be understood. Perhaps wars would decline. Perhaps prejudice would weaken. Perhaps humanity would finally realize how connected it has always been. Or perhaps the opposite would happen. Perhaps the sheer volume of human suffering would become unbearable. Imagine hearing billions of anxious thoughts every day. Billions of fears. Billions of worries. Billions of private struggles. The emotional weight could be crushing. The human brain evolved to manage a limited social circle, not the mental lives of 8 billion people. And that's when the biggest question appears. Would you still be you? If every thought is shared, if every secret disappears, if every mental boundary collapses, where does one mind end and another begin? For thousands of years, the human mind has been the last truly private place. Empires could take your land. Governments could control your actions. Technology could track your behavior. But your thoughts remained your own. Mind reading would erase that final frontier. And perhaps that's why the idea fascinates us. Because deep down, every human wants to be understood, but not completely. We want connection, but we also want privacy. We want honesty, but we also need mystery. And maybe the future of humanity depends on maintaining that balance. Because the moment everyone can read minds, the greatest thing we might lose isn't secrecy. It's the freedom to think without being watched.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।